Don't limit yourself from your reality. You can detach from that reality and create your own thing, your own narrative, your own anything. And what I mean by this is there's what you know. You were born. Take this objectively, take this from an unbiased point of view. You know nothing and you were born. You have two parents, statistically, and they have certain ideologies, whatever they have, anything. They can have all different certain things, and that's for everyone. Everyone has all different certain aspects on life, certain traits and character traits, and that just builds that personal narrative that they have for that set reality on that set person. And that's their objective reality that they have because that's what their parents have seen throughout their life. And that's what the kid grows up with and keeps on growing up with and keeps on growing up with until maybe it disrupts with a classmate having something, a whole different point of view of something. And then maybe another classmate, maybe the teacher has something else. And it's just like, no, guys, y'all are all wrong. This is what it is. And then, oh, and then they're like, oh, maybe, oh, I get it now. Maybe, it's certain aspects. And then maybe someone in the class is so stuck on what their mom and dad said, they're like, no, I don't think you're right, teacher. And who knows, that's where you get to like, okay, well, let's just see who's right and wrong. But it could be objective, it could just their truth in the matter. And then that's where a lot of people tend to hate and a lot of that negative aspects on life. But you need to detach from all of that. You need to understand that that's just human nature and that's just how it is. You have to understand that once you seclude yourself from that and understand that you see that for what it is and you're able to disengage that part of yourself, never having that happen, and you're able to manufacture that script, that code, like I've said before in my videos, you're able to code your brain. Add like your code is anything that you want. What you're telling yourself as motivation and what you're wanting to do with your life. It's your code, it's your moral, stat like your moral code. It's and just think of your brain like a computer. It's just you have to put those codes into you, and it's not even to sound repetitive, but you have to have you have to have repetition. How are you gonna be able to like remember those things? You have to have repetition because you can't just keep on. You can't just do it a few times and expect a result. And the thing is, you have to detach yourself from that part where you're not focused on the result. You have to understand that you're so caught in understanding on what you want and you're so hard driven on what you want and you're like, I'm already knowing that I'm this and this is what I'm talking about with guys. With YouTube and understanding what I want with this, I'm planning on trying to prosper myself with the YouTube. To give you a personal narrative on me, I'm living with a friend and I'm having financial certain things, certain aspects on life that are negative, but through creativity and all these aspects that I've talked about in many of my videos, I'm trying to free myself, escape that reality that I've been set in, and it's been set in stone that I want to break that with my hammer and my brain to digitally just take that away from me, talking and expressing my feelings. Wave paths, you know the empaths of the world understanding me and what I'm talking about and what I'm struggling and trying to prosper everyone else. It's understanding that we're all in this together and we all want to feel and understand each other somewhat and to some degree with like, if they can, and to sometimes there's a point where there's not able to be a conversation because they're so hard stuck on what their reality is. But you have to detach yourself from that, and after you do that, you're gonna be able to understand a lot, and you have to try to help other people understand, because how else are we supposed to prosper as a civilization if we're all not to a global understanding. I had to take ice break, but there's so much things that are set in stone that is known as common sense in all of the United States of America. We have so much things that are set in stone, like, oh, don't be this, don't be that. Obviously, now we've kind of gone more inclusive and more, but a lot of the stuff is the the United States is run on certain rural areas and certain portions. That's why all the sectors of the voting quarters are certain demographics to fix that certain aspect. It's all certain little things that build up into certain understandings, like, oh, this is why they do that, and that makes more sense, and there's reasons behind it, and it's actually in the codes. It's crazy. But not to get rambling, but it's to build more perspective. You have to understand more things, and more things help you out in the long run. You have to talk to more people. How else are you going to be able to understand more people if you are not talking to anyone else? You can't just hear everyone else on the digital camera. You have to go out and express yourself to other people. And you can even say, have you seen this video? Have you seen that? Connect through social media in a way, but you're in person talking about a video. You know what I mean? It's common things. You can talk about a TV show. You could talk about a favorite. It's all common things that you know and you love, but you just don't think about it in that moment because you're so hard stuck on your personal problems and personal things that you have, but you don't have those personal problems. You can take that away. You can literally take all of those personal problems away if you get that code out of your brain. Get that virus, that bug that's lingering inside of you, you know what I mean? Throw that away and prosper to whatever you want to do. I'm doing what I want to do because I love it. I love talking to people and understanding them. I want to be financially free, but then be able to travel the world, talk to other people, understand other people, help other people. There's so much things. I'm not trying to be a pastor, but I want to provide my civil service almost to people. I want to talk and try to get a general knowledge of and understanding so I can help, and maybe when I grow and have kids, I can give them a beautiful knowledge and narrative of the world, and they can have their own, respective reality, and maybe change that when they're growing up. It's just building and more and more and more. It's it's so much. I don't want to sound, almost crazy or delusional if you see me rambling and rambling, talking fast. I'm not talking fast just because I want to get I want to get my point proven. I want to get my point across and fast so you can understand what I'm saying to you guys. It's an important thing. It's very, very, very important, and you have to understand you have that thing in you too. You are like you're just like me. I'm just like you. You know what I mean? I've had so many things that in my life. I have so many things right now that's happened in my life. I've, you know, I like I've said before. I'm homeless. I don't have money. I don't have, a really good car. I don't work much. I've, it's just many things that add up. But what what does that change? I still want to talk. I still want to provide a service and do what I want to do. I'm still in school trying to, get my good grades, get my education. I have so many things that are, holding me back statistically. But what is that statistic going to do if I just, surpass those limitations, those little restrictions that, might have, you know, held me back at a certain point in my life, but now it's free, and it took me a while to have that actual thought process. I felt almost burdened in that for my whole high school, like I guess career, like freshman year, and then moving over to my new school sophomore year and junior year, and then now I'm a senior. I almost feel crazy. I don't care to you know I don't care how other people think of me. I want to be able to help the people that want to listen, help the people that want something real, that want something realistic, something, you know, many topics, and this might sound morbid right now, and you might, click off because it's something that you're scared of, and I was too. But death is it's such a scary topic that we don't like talking about. And everyone is super keen on religion, and I have God, and that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to talk about, but there's so much other things, and that's what I mean. You have set realities. Like I just gave you that perspective before, and that's why I gave you that perspective. So when I talk to you about this, I hope you can biasly, like unbiasedly, get that bias that you just had about whatever you have before this. But there's so many other religions, and you're gonna say, well, my religion proves this, disproves all of that. So I think and that's your set reality. But everyone else has the same set reality. So then what disproves theirs? Is it just because you said it and then you have, you know, and of course you could say, oh, I have this, structured writing. Okay. So what about all of their writing disproving yours? It's human perception on things. Maybe we're all together, in one. Maybe it's one, religion almost, and not to, sound like it's all in a sense that they almost sound all rooted, the same in a sense. They sound rooted, but there's just a division because it's like that's how humans are. They want to divide, and it's terrible. I hate that division. Why are you trying to leech off of the already poor? It's terrible. Why can't you just help the poor and and stuff like that? And that's what I mean when I get my subscribers up, when I get to my millions, like, you know what I mean? When I do this, when I get, and the thing is, I hope to maybe go to college and probably, you know, get my higher education. I honestly, I don't know exactly what. Like I know I wanted to be like I want to be a psychiatrist and get my doctorate. And I know I sound like stuttering and I know I can do this. But it's just uncertainties. I love talking and providing a service to people, and I know I can do this and do this. I want to do so many other things. How can I, go help and build a school in, somewhere that needs it to help build their educational system? I want to do so many things. I just want to provide a social service to people, and I want to have a platform that showed what I did and what I'm doing right now, what I'm doing now, what I'm doing then, like what I did before, and like what's going to happen, and what I'm envisioning in my brain, what I've implanted now, what my moral chip is, and I'm implanting into my computer. I'm putting this out. I'm putting this into this, system that I know it it's gonna lead me to things that I think that it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful thing. Everyone's able to see this, and they can hate it, they can love it, and it's all intricate. It's all their intricate thought process, so it doesn't change anything. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you don't like me. It doesn't change anything. Of course I love the people that are, with me. Of course I'll be with you too. Like, we're a community at that point. But the people that don't like me, it doesn't have any personal effect on me. I still, at the end of the day, I know that you're human and there's probably certain reasons, why you don't like me. But at the end of the day, there's no hard feelings. I don't necessarily hate you. There's no reason to hate anyone. I definitely dislike people. That's just I dislike their character. I dislike how they've viewed the world and decided to deal with this in certain ways and aspects. But you have to understand though there's reasons why, and that's why you try to avoid them. But you can still have that thought process of you not liking them, and that's total. You know, you could think it's not okay, or you could think it is okay. It's totally up to you. But I personally think it's okay. I mean, it's not that deep. It's your personal objective, your thought process. But you have to detach yourself from everything. You have to understand that there's so much things that go into it. Everyone else has intricate thought processes no matter what. And there is a lot of people that don't somewhat. I mean, they have the sheep following to say, they don't have their intricate. They hear someone else, but before they just heard that other person, had their opinion, they were thinking about something else. They were thinking, oh, what about this? I'm thinking about this. But once their, leader to say said something, they're like, oh, that's what it is now. You know what I mean? That's what that sheep, mentality is. But they're still human. They still have a thought process. That doesn't disprove that they can't have an objective, you know, taste on things. But they still follow and follow because it's like, oh, that must be right because they have a name, to say they have a badge. They have something that puts them in a higher status above you. And of course, I'm not saying doctors and stuff like that is a you know, uh this proves that like you're obviously a highly educated person, but anyone has a, can have an eye intelligence. But you just have to view reality differently. Um, there's so many poisons in this world. There's so many poisons in this world that we don't see. Um, with vaping and all of that. Not to get all deep into that, but there's so much side effects, and we all have our own poisons. And one history lesson I want to give you one history lesson right now. But the the Qin dynasty, or whatever, the Shi dynasty, in China, the emperor was on a search for immortality, and on his search for immortality, he was told that mercury was the the potion that would set for immortality, because he was so deathly scared of dying. He didn't want to die. He wanted to live forever and be the emperor of China. And on his quest, he found mercury and all that stuff. It's not that hard to find it, but mercury is literally a poison. He poisoned himself to death. That's what's predicted, at least that's what's commonly thought of as his death, because he would drink mercury because he thought that was gonna grant him immortality. You just have to understand, think about things before you do them. Just because you heard something from someone doesn't mean that it's true. Please try to gather information before you make a total assumption about something. Of course, everyone has their first objective viewpoint on something, so it changes that. And that's what something super super you need to change that. Get rid of that. You can't have a 1 minute, and of course, okay, you will have that, but you have to understand that once you make those, just like you're talking to them again and again and again, you have to understand that you don't know them 100%, so you can't make decisions based off of that. And a lot of people do. I've done that many times in my past, but now I've tended to understand that, okay, I can't do that. I need to chill out. I don't know that person enough. I don't want to you know bargain to that, to say like, it's just you put yourself in a situation where you don't like a lot of uncertainty, and it's something that you don't need to do. But it's a beautiful subject, guys. This is honestly all I wanted to talk about today. If any questions, concerns, like any topics you want me to talk about, let me know. With that, I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.